Hey friends, it's Vicky. I'm over at the Terrace house. Just want to show you what I'm doing today. So I'm doing some weeding of the health strip bed basically. I'm also like sweeping up my sidewalk and stuff like that. I finally got that broom that I've been saying I needed to get. But you can see that I've already pulled all the weeds along this way. They're down along the road there, so I'll sweep those up. But working my way down, I still have to get from like here down all the rest of this way, and then I'm going to come in and finish mulching this area. I don't know what they're doing over here. I think it has to do with the gas lines and water lines again, but I had planted these ground huggeronias. You can barely see them in the dirt because the people came in and completely buried them with this dirt. So I don't know what other work they were doing in this area, but I came like a day or two after I planted these and they were completely buried in dirt. I had just spent like, I don't know, about 5 more of these shrubs, probably 80, 90 bucks on those, because I want them to match all the ones that I already had down there. And I had all of those I had gotten on sale earlier in the year. But anyway, that was very frustrating to come over here and my newly planted Aronia ground hug were completely buried. And now there's hardly any leaves on them whatsoever. But I did find them and unbury them. And they did get some water when it rained here the past couple days. I don't know if this one's going to make it. Like that's grass. There's no leaves on it whatsoever. So hopefully this one grows back. But I just feel like I keep getting screwed over by things that are out of my control. But anyway, let me just move on. Here's what the garden's looking like today. Actually, I'm gonna cut back the rest of those peonies. I already got the ones that were up there on my upper terrace. So those are ready to be cut back. No longer looking pretty. But let's focus on what does look pretty. Those pink salvia up there are just gorgeous. And I love the structure of the iris behind it. And I also really love the verbascum because it has that lighter colored foliage. And you can see some of it right there in front of the iris as well. This one starting to push out its little flower cone at the top. Do you see it? Let me zoom in a little bit. There it is, peeking out of the top. Isn't that cool? So pretty soon that will be a tall spike, probably shoot up another 3 or 4 feet beyond how tall that is already. I don't know if I showed you guys this. I planted some pink Gara behind these little orange mums. At least I think they're mums. I deadheaded those little mums and they are starting to rebloom. So they're supposed to be perennial mums. I've just never seen them that small, but then again, I've never bought them at this time of year. And I got them for super cheap at Ace Hardware down the road. So I want to climb up to the second terrace because I just saw some coneflower that's looking very cute and interesting. But before I do that, aren't these pretty? The pink yarrow next to the pink salvia. I love that. I told you that the daisies were going to look rough for a few weeks, and they are indeed looking rough. Luckily, it rained a lot. Like before I planted these, and then like even the next couple, 2-3 days after I planted them, it continued to kind of like lightly rain. But we have another stretch of what appears to be dry weather. I'm going to have to check the weather again and see if it's changed or if they have any storms popping up or anything, but I'm not aware of any in the immediate future. So we'll see. But let me climb up because there is something I want to check out. My first coneflowers are opening. Very pretty, very nice. This patch of salvia right back here, I had cut it back. So that's already been cut back, waiting for it to rebloom. Got some anemone blooming. Some down there. One over here. I don't really know why this side of the bed, all the anemone seems to be further behind, but I do see, like, there's one over there that's starting to put up what looks like a flower stalk. So I think pretty soon we're going to have those wine-colored anemones on this side, and then it will kind of continue around here. And then in the center, it switches to the white, which I don't see any of those blooms up yet. Let me walk through. So all this center area, whenever the anemones finally start blooming, should be white. And that, I believe, will kind of carry up into this, kind of at an angle a little bit. And then you can see over here that I started the red ones again, and those will go through that way. Here's what they look like up close. The lamb's ear is starting to look pretty good, I think. I'm starting to be able to see them from down below. So let me show you what I'm talking about when I'm down on the sidewalk. When I'm down on the sidewalk, you're starting to see them popping up along the front of the terrace wall. So I'm starting to get the effect that I was shooting for. And right here in front of the pink yarrow and the orange mums, those are looking good. It looks like maybe I had a few die on this row because I don't see any right there, and I don't see one in this corner. But that's okay. At my other house, at the rental house, I have a few more that, like, after I had planted this whole line up, I had a few extra, so I put them over at the rental house, and I'll just bring those over and transfer them. I don't know if I'm going to do it now. I gotta wait until it's either raining or going to rain. But at least I know that I have, you know, the stock that I need to fill that in. I don't need to go out and buy more or anything. On this little metal ball, I don't know if anybody even noticed, but I had held it together at the top with like that green plant tape that is like a Velcro tape that sticks to itself. But you could see it along the metal, and I wanted something that was less obvious, so I switched that out for just like some metal wire. I would have liked to have put that on the bottom so that you couldn't see it at all, but I couldn't really figure out how to do it with planting that after the ball was already in place. So I put the plant down first and then kind of put the ball around it, and anyway, this is what I came up with, and it's fine. It's good enough. I just want that plant to just fill in this ball and kind of be sticking out, and that was just really what I was going for. So, well, shoot, we were having such a nice overcast morning, and all of a sudden the sun has come out. I was hoping it would continue being overcast so I could get some better footage for you. Here's the daisies down on this end, and again, they are looking kind of rough. Hopefully they'll pull through. I work the next 3 days, and I won't have a chance to come over here and water them, so oh goodness, I gotta check the forecast, because if there is no rain in the forecast in the next 3 days, and if it does get hotter, I might just have to fill up some jugs and swing by after work, just specifically to water those daisies. And that will add like an extra hour to my day, and I already work 12 hours a day. And then, you know, it's like the driving time on top of that. That would not be fun. Here's the yarrow that I divided and put in here, and it's also wilting a little bit, but not looking terrible. Like I said, yarrow's pretty tough, so I'm not super worried about it, although I do hope we get more rain soon. This is another orange yarrow just the same as these two little ones that were already here. I brought this from my other house, and I actually have two more even bigger clumps at the other house that I would like to bring. And I'm thinking about putting, I don't know if I want to put them both right here, or maybe put like one right here and one kind of going up the hill next to there. It's just that I know that once this hibiscus starts filling out more, it's going to take up that space. So there isn't really a point in planting it right there. Plus, once the yarrow starts, not the yarrow, the oregano, once the oregano gets big and starts coming forward, it's probably going to come into that space as well. So I think I better, if I'm going to add more yarrow, probably just put both of them right along this front area. But it's that same peach sky, kind of peach fading to yellow color. Catmint is looking great. Just went off without a hitch. Such a great plant. I don't know why I waited so long to put some of this in my garden. Probably just because around the time that I started thinking about catmint, I also was like starting to get heavy into natives, and catmint is not a native for us. So I was just trying to, I guess, focus on more native things, but I'm okay with having non-natives as long as they're not invasive and as long as they are serving my purposes and that they're deer resistant and they're beautiful and they have a long blooming season and all of that stuff. That's important. Okay, well, actually I want to show you the upstairs. And I've got a little bit more story about the management people. So, I got a call from the mortgage company specifically about these management people that they sent out. And basically, because the home's not being lived in and it belongs to the mortgage company since it's not paid off, it's in my mortgage, it's in the contract that I signed when I bought the house, that they are permitted to send out a management company if they feel that the property is not being maintained. And the thing is, like, the grass may occasionally get a little bit long, but aside from that, I have been maintaining this property to the best of my ability. The only area that wasn't getting maintained was right over here, and that's because when the initial people came out and tore down the fence, they just dumped a bunch of that there, and that sat there for like 10 or 11 months, blocking off all of that area and part of my rose bed. But aside from that, I've been taking care of this yard and garden, you know, as best as I could, considering that I work full time and I have to take care of the other property as well. That's in the rental agreement with the other house. So I can't just not mow that lawn and not, you know, do the stuff I'm supposed to do over there. So it's extremely frustrating that the mortgage company is basically charging me to send somebody out here to do things like mow the lawn 2-3 days after I mowed the lawn, because they're not even checking. They're just sending somebody out to do it. And supposedly I'm being inspected like once a month, and they're charging me $25 a month for that as well. I mean, there's actually more than that, more than once a month, because I've got 14 charges of $25 a piece so far that I have found out about. And they supposedly did a roof repair on my house that costs over $400 and some that they've tacked on to what I owe the mortgage company now. This was by the property maintenance company. And my question is, how in the heck are you going to repair my roof when I had a 30-foot hole in it for like 9 months before the back half of my house was torn off? In what way did you repair something that protected the property in any way? So I think that they are charging me for erroneous things that are not even necessary or doing anything to like improve the property or protect the property or anything. Like, they charged me over $300 to change the locks when I had a gigantic hole in my house. That's not securing the building. There's a huge hole in my house. There's no point in changing the locks on a building that someone can just crawl into. So it's not anymore, because the builders have put up, you know, like this stuff, whatever you call that, not 2x4s, plywood and whatnot. But, you know, for many, many months, this was just a giant hole in the roof, and anybody could have climbed in there. So no point in changing the locks, no point in charging me to fix the roof. I have no idea what that charge was even for, but all I know is I'm going to dispute it. The point of this little story and rant is that I need to take even better video evidence of my property, because I'm going to be disputing these charges, their claims that I wasn't protecting or taking care of the yard or whatever. I need, you know, video evidence of what I'm doing. Every time I come over here on my days off, I spend a lot of time, a lot of my free time over at this house. Every time I have the opportunity, still trying to maintain it, because this is my home. This is my dream home. I do plan to keep it after it's repaired. I do plan to come back and live here, and I haven't abandoned it. You know, it's just very upsetting. They're just adding more burden and financial burden and emotional burden onto everything that I'm already going through. And it's unnecessary. Like, it's making some management company money. And I don't know if the management company is like an arm of the mortgage company. So maybe they're making money in that way. But all I know is I'm getting charged for additional things that are not helpful and in fact are hurtful to me, the property owner, against my will, without my permission. These things are happening. So just because I don't live here anymore doesn't mean that it's not still my home and that I'm not still taking care of it and I'm still paying my mortgage. And, you know, I just, even if it's in the contract that I signed when I, you know, took out the loan with them in the first place, it just doesn't seem right. So I guess that's it. That's my rant. Sorry to be negative. That's all I have to say about it, I guess. All right, everybody. I'm going to get back to work. Just wanted to take a little break. Oh, look, the sun went behind the clouds again. Or it was. Now it's coming back out. Anyway, I'm still super excited about the garden, even though I'm frustrated with how things are going. It's also starting to look really beautiful, and I can see my progress, you know, every month, that it's getting better and better over time. And it just, I cannot tell how gardening fills me with joy. And I think everybody should spend time in the garden. All right, we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye. Okay, one more thing that just occurred to me. You know how I always show you guys how I filled up a whole trash can when I come over here of debris and, you know, lawn waste and sticks and twigs and everything? That's all evidence, video evidence that is timed every time I've posted it on YouTube. It proves that I've been maintaining this property, at least doing quite a bit, if not perfect, during the time that I haven't been living here. So I just wanted to make that point, because I'm probably going to be presenting like video evidence to both the mortgage company and this property management company when I'm disputing all of this. I don't know if it's going to go to court or what, but I'm not planning to pay for all of these fees that they're charging me. And frankly, I feel like they owe me money for destroying my garden up there. So I'm just so aggravated, you guys. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to just enjoy my spring and enjoy the fact that my garden looks looking beautiful. But it's really hard when I keep coming over here and having things destroyed by people that are supposed to be, I don't know, helping me get back into my home faster. And it's been almost a year. June 24th will be 1 year from when the tree fell in our house. And it's like, what is today? May 26th or something? I'll put the date on the video. But almost nothing has happened aside from dragging away some debris, and like the back half of my house has been demolished, but nothing new has been built yet. And I'm so frustrated and I'm so aggravated that I want back in my house, and I want people to stay off of my property, and I want things to stop being out of my control that I can't do anything about. All right. Four or 5 more months and this will be over, right? Oh, I got those peonies cut back. Doesn't that look better? Looks so much better. I still need to cut back that grass up there and these barberries. When am I ever gonna do that? Maybe next time I come. But I still have to finish this. This is really what I'm working on right now to get finished, is I need to finish pulling up all that grass. And then I'm probably going to need about 10 more bags of mulch to finish up the rest of this strip here. And then hopefully nobody will bury my ground hug aronias again. Hopefully they'll survive and thrive and start looking like these ones down here, which looks so much better. And they've only been in the ground for a couple of months, but look at the difference in size. And I mean, honestly, those other ones that I planted down there that got buried, they were not much smaller than this, but they got buried by dirt. So I don't know if they're going to survive now. All right. Well, I guess that's it again. I will talk to you guys later.